Hi there, I'm Andrea Gajic and I'm speaking at the virtual Benedetti sessions. In today's very first tutorial for the first violinists of the Advanced Orchestra, we are going to be exploring Vaughan Williams' Fantasia on a theme by Thomas Tallis and Paganini's Caprice number 24, arranged by the Ibe sisters. So, the first thing that you're going to need is one of these, a pencil. It's always good to have a pencil. Carry it with you everywhere if you hear something inspiring. If you're, of course, in the lessons you need a pencil, in rehearsals you need a pencil. Always good to carry with you a pencil. You need your music all stuck together, organized so that it's all neat. Don't play from single sheets, they will fly off the stand, and there is nothing more frustrating than that. So have everything organized. You will need the score. It's important to see how your part fits in with the other instruments. So if you have the score there at the ready, you're able to look at that. It's also useful so that you can see the structure. So you just read through the music without your instrument. I would also say, of course, listen to as many recordings as you can. I think Nikki's got a playlist. Listen to the recordings of the Caprice and the Fantasia there. Also listen to other works by Vaughan Williams. Get to know his style, his musical language, his use of harmonies, his long lavish lines. Works like Lark Ascending. You can hear there are sort of glimpses of that in the Fantasia, with sort of gliding, the lark gliding through the sky. So it's very useful to listen. The same with the Paganini. Do you know La Campanella, for instance, of Paganini? Great work. There's taken from his concerto. So and of course all the caprices are absolute jewels. So have a listen to them. Get to know the composer. Great. Okay. So step one, go through the music. Have a look at any Italian terms you don't understand. Tempo markings. Let's start with the Vaughan Williams. If we can just circle any words you don't understand. I'm going to draw your attention to one comma that's really important there at the end of the second bar. Circle it. Place to watch is the 6/8 bar at the end of the second line going into the 3/4 bar. Circle that. There is a forte piano and you are going to zoom through the bow there. So and just fly away there. It's so glorious, this music. If you're playing that's something I meant to add. If you want to play the top line and you are totally comfortable with the top line, and this is applicable also to the Paganini, play the top line. If you're more comfortable with the bottom line, then play the bottom line. It has to support your learning and support where you are at in your development. So if you are more comfortable with the bottom line, play the bottom line. So if you are playing bottom line, then just there before C, here you need time before we go into C. And then it goes on. Yeah. Then to second bar of E, just watch there. Moving on to T, the fifth bar of T, each of those entries, they need time. Well, you need to look at the conductor, and also the final one, just circle that, that's piano down to 3 pianos. Then letter Y, this is also tricky for intonation. So you want to just quickly, just talking about the intonation, just take each note separately. This is the bottom line, just separate. Check the D without rhythm. Each one slowly, peacefully, slowly. And intonation is one of those, it's something we always need to work on every day. It's sort of like if you don't sort of clean your teeth, then they get dirty. So I would just remain patient, keep your hand really soft, hear the sound before you do it. If you're not able to hear it, sing along with the recording. Try to really pitch those sounds. So here there's going to be a lot of time taken just before Z, especially 1, 2, 3, 4. Just circle that just so that you know it really well and you are not relying on, you're not glued to the music. Then, of course, the last chord. This goes on forever. Again, look at the conductor. Okay, so important. So that's a place to watch. Okay, so in the Fantasia, it's about sound. We need to explore a wide palette, explore our instrument basically in all its capabilities. We need to explore the impact vibrato can make on the sound and how we can use it to create shimmers at points and richness at other points. This work has got, it's such an opportunity for you guys to develop your sound, so really use it. Okay, if we can, we're going to just explore what we can create with sound. So why don't we take this opening. This first note is particularly difficult, and first chord to play beautifully. So if you're playing the top line, slide up with second and get used to that distance and find it like that. This also, you can play the fourth finger and then replace it with first and then there. Okay, and now we want a really pure sound. If you can imagine sort of, you know, this, it's amazing with this work how Vaughan Williams almost translated choral music into chamber music. That's exactly what this is. And these are like voices in the opening, but with the intonation almost like an organ, so it just sounds really pure. So we would only ever want to use a tiny bit of vibrato, but for right now we're not going to use any, because we are just going to explore what we can do with this G or D, whatever note you're playing. So if you just put your bow on at the tip, and you're going to just glide through the bow, and you're just going to stay on the note. So you're just going to do long notes, and you're just going to stay on it and try to find the center. Make sure your hand is comfortable and make sure everything's comfortable. So you ready? And just let the bow glide. Excellent. And stop. Now this time we are going to again glide, and we're going to explore our rainbow. So we're going to move the bow closer and further away from the bridge, closer and further away from the bridge. Okay, so this is our palette, and as we move, I want you to feel the way you're going to have to, so if you can imagine the sound, there are these three important ingredients. That is speed, contact point, and weight or pressure. So that has to change as we go through our rainbow of colours. So if we just start maybe closer to the fingerboard, and we're just floating. Just allow it to float. Now to the fingerboard. Okay, now move it closer to the bridge. Closer to the bridge. And closer. And gradually apply more weight. And more. And more. And now really slow. Really slow. Really slow. And wait. And now feel it floating. And floating. Now add some vibrato to it, just a shimmer. And again the same thing. Great. So obviously we've taken the first note because that's actually one of the most difficult places in this work, just that opening. But you can apply that sort of work to anything. Great etudes, well, especially Kreutzer, for instance, Kreutzer number 1. I would first do it on open strings though, and then in the scale, so that you can practice the scale, different dynamics. And the longer you can hold the bow, so the more counts you can put in one bow, the better control you will gain over the bow. So if you Kreutzer number 1, gradually crescendos is a great tonal exercise. So check it out. Great. Okay. So that covers most of what I wanted to say in this opening, apart from the comma. So if we can just play the opening 1, 2, 3 bars, and I want you to stop before that comma. So we're going to go. Remember that the second two crotchets are joined together, so it's like this. Tiny amount of vibrato. Now, really quiet. How quiet can you play that D? Just let it float. Great. And then we have a tremolo. Just to be here. Really quiet. Right at the very tip. Do you see that? So that's the 3/4 bar. Or if you're playing the upper line. But before that you have a 40. So if I can show you just that second beat of 6/8, so the second part of this 6/8 bar, we're going to go into. You need to zoom right to the end of the bow. Brilliant. Okay. Then at letter D we have a much more sustained sound, so that's using more depth. So again, just take each note and find the center of it. It's a great way to develop tone. Okay, and the 5th bar. Here, just watch that piano. Let the bow float. And then at Y, here just be really mindful of the intonation. So when you're practicing intonation, don't move your finger to the right point the minute it's out of tune in your practice room. Try to replace the note and really learn where it goes. So if I can show you how not to do it. You don't want to do that. I'm exaggerating, of course. So let's say it's a little sharp, that's C, so upper line. You would replace and replace it so that's really in tune. Yeah? And of course, sound at the last chord. Find the sound, feel the weight. In my next warm-up video, we will be talking about the right hand, and I'll be sharing with you some ways you can really work on developing free use of the right hand. So do check that out too. Okay, I think that pretty much covers that. Okay, if we can move on to the Paganini. Now, few places here that you want to be mindful of. Variation 1, practice this in rhythm. So if you watched my first warm-up video, which I'm sure you did, you will see I gave you some tips on how you can make sure this is free. Apply it here, and then play it in rhythms, dotted rhythms. So then opposite, and then Again, stopping on the first, stopping on the second, stopping on the third. Each time you stop, you want to make sure that you relax your hand, and now stop on the fourth, so like this. So that's very important. We are going to talk next time about the martelets, so I'm going to leave that. These are just the most tricky parts. Check out variation 3. Again, if it's too difficult doing double stops, just do one note, okay? We do not want for your hand to get very tense, okay? So if you are not so familiar with double stops, don't do double stops, okay? And just practice this all slurred. So this is one of those places that may just take that little bit more time, so I would check that out. The next one is, of course, variation 5. Take these notes all separately without rhythm. Just really listening, familiarizing yourself with where you're going. If you are determined to do double stops for these trills, I would practice release. Now this one you will need to spend time at if you are doing double stops. When you slide, if you can imagine, there are 3 stages to that. Release, float, finger down. So release, float, finger down. Yeah, so you arrive at that next note. Yeah, and so all of that, just separate bows, really listening to your sound. Make sure variation 6, you really understand the rhythm there. So work with a metronome, clapping and counting out aloud the rhythm. So that you're absolutely precise. Fortunately, I think you're with the second violins and violas here, so you are not alone. And then bar 159, that last brilliant flurry can be practiced in rhythms too. So just to summarize what we have discussed, the initial stages of your prep is vital. It's sort of like laying the right foundation. So make sure that you've got the score, make sure that your pages are all together, that everything's organized, and that you feel comfortable. You have to remain positive and determined. You can do this, and it is going to be fantastic. That's all there is to it. The next, of course, check out all the Italian terms. Anything you don't know or understand in the music, make sure you understand it. Carry always the pencil with you. Stick your pages together. Listen to the music. But you know what? I know we've covered a lot in today's session. Just enjoy it. It's such wonderful music. Just enjoying the whole experience. And I'm certainly going to enjoy working with you all. So thank you for being with me today, and I look forward to seeing you soon.